Adam Morrison was a scoring machine in college. The 6'8" forward from Gonzaga was a two-time All-American and led the nation in scoring during his junior season. So when the Charlotte Bobcats selected him with the 3rd overall pick in the 2006 NBA draft, many experts predicted that Morrison would be a star in the league. But things didn't go as planned for Morrison. In his rookie season, he struggled to adapt to the NBA game and was often criticized for his lack of athleticism and defensive ability. He averaged just 11.8 points per game and shot just 37.6% from the field. Despite his struggles, Morrison remained confident in his ability to be a star in the league. Morrison's sophomore season started off promising, as he scored a career-high 30 points in the season opener. But his production tailed off as the season went on, and he was eventually traded to the Los Angeles Lakers midway through the season. Morrison won 2 NBA championships as a bench player with the Lakers, but he was out of the league by 2010. So what went wrong for Morrison? There were a number of factors that contributed to his lack of success in the NBA. For one, he was drafted into a difficult situation in Charlotte. The Bobcats were a new franchise at the time, and Morrison was expected to be the face of the team. The pressure was too much for him to handle, and he struggled to find his footing in the NBA. Morrison's lack of athleticism was also a major issue. He was slow-footed and couldn't create his own shot, which made him an easy target for NBA defenders. Morrison's lack of size and strength also hindered his ability to play defense, which made him a liability on that end of the court. But perhaps most importantly, Morrison's confidence never wavered, even as his production on the court declined. He remained convinced that he was a star in the making and refused to accept the reality of his situation. Morrison's refusal to adapt to the NBA game ultimately led to his downfall and serves as a cautionary tale for young players with big aspirations. Sam Bowie is one of the biggest draft busts in NBA history, having been selected with the 2nd overall pick in the 1984 NBA draft, ahead of future legends Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. Bowie was a highly touted prospect coming out of college, where he had a successful career at the University of Kentucky. He was expected to become a dominant force in the NBA, but things did not go as planned for Bowie. Bowie's career was plagued by injuries, which prevented him from reaching his full potential as a player. He suffered a stress fracture in his left leg during his rookie season, and this injury would continue to bother him throughout his career. He missed significant time in his 2nd season due to the injury, and would eventually undergo surgery to repair the damage. Despite these setbacks, Bowie showed flashes of brilliance on the court. He had a solid 3rd season with the Portland Trail Blazers, averaging 10.5 points and 8.6 rebounds per game. However, injuries continued to hamper his career, and he was never able to live up to the expectations that came with being the 2nd overall pick in the draft. So why did Bowie fail to live up to his potential? The injuries were a major factor, but there were also concerns about his mental toughness and his ability to handle the pressure of being a high draft pick in the league. He was often criticized for not being aggressive enough on the court, and for lacking the killer instinct that is necessary to succeed at the highest level of the game. Despite his disappointing career, Bowie remains an interesting figure in NBA history. He is often remembered as the player who was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan, and his story serves as a cautionary tale for NBA teams that are looking to draft players based on potential rather than proven performance. While Bowie's career did not pan out as expected, he remains an important part of NBA history, and his legacy will be remembered for years to come. Greg Oden was once considered the next great big man in the NBA. A dominant force in college basketball, he was selected with the 1st overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft by the Portland Trail Blazers, ahead of future All-Stars Kevin Durant and Al Horford. However, Oden's career was plagued by a series of injuries that prevented him from ever realizing his full potential. Oden's 1st season in the NBA was cut short by a knee injury that required microfracture surgery. He missed the entire 2007-08 season and most of the 2008-09 season, delaying the start of his career. When he finally returned to the court, he showed flashes of brilliance, averaging 11.1 points and 8.5 rebounds per game in the 2009-10 season. However, injuries continued to hamper his progress, and he played in just 21 games the following season. Despite his injury woes, the Blazers believed in Oden's potential and offered him a qualifying offer after the 2010-11 season. However, Oden suffered yet another setback. requiring a second microfracture surgery on his knee. He missed the entire 2011-12 season and was released by the Blazers in March of 2012. Oden attempted a comeback with the Miami Heat in the 2013-14 season, but he played in just 23 games and averaged 2.9 points and 2.3 rebounds per game. He announced his retirement from the NBA in 2016. While Oden's career was undoubtedly marred by injury, it is worth considering what could have been. In college, he was a dominant force, averaging 15.7 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks per game in his one season at Ohio State. At 7 feet tall and 285 pounds, he possessed a rare combination of size, strength, and skill that made him a formidable presence on the court. Unfortunately, injuries robbed Oden of the opportunity to fully realize his potential. However, his legacy serves as a reminder of the fragile nature of sports careers and the importance of health and conditioning in the pursuit of athletic excellence. Kwame Brown is widely considered to be one of the biggest draft busts in NBA history, having been selected with the first overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft by the Washington Wizards. Brown was just 18 years old when he was drafted, making him one of the youngest players in NBA history. At the time, Brown was viewed as a potential superstar in the making. He was a dominant force in high school, where he averaged over 20 points and 13 rebounds per game, and was widely considered to be the best high school player in the country. However, his transition to the NBA was far from smooth. Brown struggled to adapt to the NBA game, and was quickly labeled as a bust by many fans and analysts. He struggled with injuries early in his career, and was unable to establish himself as a consistent scorer or rebounder. He was also criticized for his work ethic and his attitude, with some analysts accusing him of being lazy and unmotivated. Despite his struggles, Brown remained in the league for 12 seasons, playing for 6 different teams during his career. He never lived up to the expectations that came with being the first overall pick, but he did have some solid seasons as a role player and was able to carve out a long career in the NBA. So why did Brown fail to live up to his potential? There were a number of factors at play, including his lack of experience and maturity, his struggles with injuries, and his perceived lack of effort and dedication to the game. He was also the victim of high expectations and unrealistic hype, which may have contributed to the pressure he felt to succeed early in his career. Despite his struggles, Brown remains an interesting figure in NBA history. His story serves as a cautionary tale for teams that are looking to draft players based on potential rather than proven performance, and highlights the challenges that young players face when making the jump from high school to the professional ranks. While Brown's career did not go as planned, he remains an important part of NBA history, and his legacy will be remembered for years to come. Anthony Bennett was a highly touted prospect coming out of UNLV when he was selected with the first overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. At 6'8" inches and 245 pounds, Bennett was considered a versatile and athletic forward with a diverse skill set. However, he struggled mightily to adjust to the professional game and quickly earned the label of one of the biggest draft busts in NBA history. Bennett's struggles were evident from the start. He struggled with his conditioning and weight, leading to concerns about his work ethic and dedication. He also lacked the explosiveness and quickness that made him such a dynamic player in college, and he struggled to keep up with the speed and athleticism of NBA players. Bennett's rookie season was a disaster. He played in just 52 games and averaged 4.2 points and 3.0 rebounds per game, while shooting a dismal 35.6% from the field. He struggled to find his place in the Cavs' offense and looked lost on the court at times. His struggles continued into his second season, and he was eventually traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a deal that brought Kevin Love to Cleveland. Bennett's time in Minnesota was even less successful than his stint in Cleveland. He played in just 57 games over 2 seasons and averaged just 4.7 points and 3.4 rebounds per game. He was eventually waived by the Timberwolves and bounced around the league, playing for the Toronto Raptors, Brooklyn Nets, and Houston Rockets before his NBA career came to an end. Bennett's struggles in the NBA were a stark contrast to his success in college. In his one season at UNLV, he averaged 16.1 points and 8.1 rebounds per game, while shooting 53.3% from the field. He was named the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and was widely regarded as one of the top prospects in the draft. Bennett's story serves as a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of the NBA draft and the importance of fit and development in a player's success. Despite his talent and potential, Bennett was unable to adjust to the NBA game and was never able to find his place in the league.